Hello and welcome to a special bonus episode of My Hollywood Story. I'm Stacey Wilson Hunt. This episode features an exclusive Q&A between the Oscar-nominated writer, comedian, and actor Kumail Nanjiani and the Soho House West Hollywood members who attended his live taping in November of 2025. Listen in as Kumail reflects further on his general policy of not doing a Pakistani accent in his acting roles. He also shares how he balances scripted acting work while also continuing to do stand-up comedy, and what has most sparked his interest in directing.
Hi, I'm from Chicago. My sister went to Grinnell, Leslie, when you were there, so I don't know if you know her, but my two questions are, when you were in New York and you talked about setting that boundary about not doing accents, was there any backlash or were you just that charming when you were saying it? And then how are you balancing doing scripted work and stand-up? Because they're so different. You kind of spoke about it.
They're very different. There was no real backlash to it because there wasn't like nobody knew me or anything. It was just a personal decision. People would get awkward about it, but like I said, I wouldn't own their awkwardness. It's on them. So there wasn't really like any sort of people just didn't know about it. It was just my personal decision, and the only people who knew about it are the casting directors who'd asked me, and then when I've spoken about it in interviews. The tricky thing with stand-up is the writing of stand-up is very different from writing a script, and I had to relearn how to write stand-up. In a script, like in The Big Sick, for instance, the balance of drama and comedy is very important, and that's how I write everything. It's going to be funny, but I also want it to be moving. It has to have that, and there's got to be a real balance to it. You can't just have a bunch of funny stuff in a row. That throws off the balance. And I learned this from watching all the movies I love, like the James L. Brooks movies, watching Tootsie and listening to their commentaries, and they talk specifically about that balance, right? And so I trained over the many years, because I didn't do stand-up for a long time. I just did acting, and I wrote movies and TV shows. I trained myself to be like, it's funny, then a moving thing, then a funny thing, then a moving thing, finding that balance. Stand-up is not about balance. Stand-up is about just being funny. And so I had to relearn to sort of be like, okay, you can have like 6 jokes in a row, and in a movie that wouldn't work necessarily, depending on the kind of movie you're making. But with stand-up, that is the goal. So relearning that was kind of tricky. The other thing is just time-wise. If you're doing stand-up, you don't have much time for anything else, because if you're touring, you're like in a different city every day. And stand-up takes your nights away, you know? You're out at night. And so that makes the schedule tricky. So when I was really like touring, there were only few periods where I could shoot and tour at the same time. For me, it's really one or the other. So like right now, I'm not focused on stand-up anymore. In this moment, I'm focused on acting and writing and stuff. I started doing it in the strikes. That's why I was able to go back to it. I think it's, at least for me, it's hard to maintain both at the same time. Best I could do is back and forth.
Thank you. And I think the couch over here.
How are you?
Good.
I've been kind of watching this clinic that Timothy's putting on marketing Marty Supreme, and I'm just kind of curious, like what involvement you like to have in marketing your films and kind of how that generally works.
I find it tricky. I know how to do interviews and panels and all that stuff. I don't really know what makes people go and watch something. I really don't. Like, I know a lot of these places try and like chase viral moments. I really don't know what that alchemy is. So I don't really know how to go for it. I think the thing about marketing that's tricky is you finish a job, you're done with it, you've done something else, and now you go back and talk about something that emotionally and mentally you were kind of done with. You have to re-engage with a thing that to you was gone. And then for me, the tricky thing is also then when you start promoting, it's very tough to not get wrapped up in the success of it when it comes out or lack of success of it. So for me, those are the two things that are difficult about press. Well, 3 things. One, I don't know what gets people to watch something. Hopefully I'm in the hands of people who do know that. You're talking about something that you sort of moved on from. And then it sort of forces you to re-engage with like reviews and box office and whatever that is, when ideally I just don't even want to know when something comes out. I want to know about it afterwards, but there's really no way to do that, you know? So I find it difficult. I mean, he's great at it, obviously, and he's very, you know, he just knows how to be on camera and that.
And you're talking about Timothée Chalamet.
Timothée Chalamet, yeah. I haven't actually, I'm not on social media very much anymore, so I haven't seen the specific things you're talking about, but
he's very social forward, and he's
is.
doing a lot of social stuff, which I think is imperative to any campaign now.
I think so, yeah.
Hey, how's it going? It was such an insightful conversation, and actually I was so excited to hear that you'll be directing. As a longtime fan of movies, was directing always something that you would aspire to do one day? And also, is there anything that you can tease us about the project that you've decided to take on the directing hat?
It was only the last few years that I've started thinking about directing, just like the last maybe 2 or 3 years. And it really came from, you know, because I love acting and I'm still learning it. You know, there's so much to learn that I felt like I don't need to move on to something else because there's like oceans to explore here. And then I just shot a few things that I was like, oh, I would have done this differently. It's not my movie, but if it was my movie, I would have done this, this, this. And as I started thinking about that, I started thinking about filmmaking in a different kind of way. Like I'd been thinking about it as an actor, how to tell my piece of the story. But because I've been on set so much, and I don't really go back to my trailer, I hang out with the crew as they're setting up. I talk to the lighting people a lot, and I talk to the DP a lot. The director's so busy, you don't want to talk to them unless they, you know, unless you really want to ask them something. So I felt like I was picking up like bits here and there of everything that goes into making a movie. And I was like, it was a couple of years ago that I was like, there's something, I feel like this is something I want to do. There's so much more to learn, but I feel like there are things about it that make sense to me, and there are certain things about it that I would have to learn that I think will be challenging. And so it was that, but it wasn't until, it's a script that I didn't write. It wasn't until I read the script that I was like, and I'd read it as an actor, and I'm going to be in it as an actor as well. And it was only when I got this script and I was like, yeah, I want to be in it. I love this. And as I was like, we were talking about who would direct it, I was like, I think I know how to do this one. And I don't know how to direct, but I think I know how to direct this movie, you know? And I still have a lot to learn between now and when we get to shoot. But I can't really tease very much about it. It's sort of in the horror-y adjacent genre, which I know a lot of comedy people have done to great success. Not that I just jinx myself. I'll break the streak. Don't worry, guys.
I'm gonna remove that from this conversation.
Thank you, please. Don't jinx me. But I'm very excited about it because I feel like I really like understand this one. And you know, it's just like everything you do helps you with other stuff. So I think acting helps me with directing, helps me with editing. You know, I've sat in the edit booth a lot. So I feel like I've worn every hat. I haven't worn this one, and I'm excited to do it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you. Thank you for your wonderful questions and for coming today. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We hope you enjoyed this special installment of My Hollywood Story. Thank you so much for listening. My Hollywood Story is a production of Hippolyta Films and Entertainment. The series is written, produced, and hosted by me, Stacey Wilson Hunt. Executive producers for Hippolyta are Sonia Slutsky and Wendy Green. Series producers also include Daryl Young and Janet Grayson. Our camera operator, sound mixer, and editor is Ramiro Cantu. Original music for My Hollywood Story is by Madi Gabriel and Jenny Carr of Moon and Star. Our logo design was created by Brad Mitchell. And I would like to give a very special thanks to Soho House West Hollywood for being the official new home of our show. We couldn't do it without you. This episode of My Hollywood Story was recorded live at Soho House West Hollywood. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, leave a review, and let us know what you think.